You and Chris are going to be in here talking about God knows what.
Yeah, they go.
Hello, children. How y'all doing?
Welcome to our time machine. That's my new tagline.
That's your new tagline. Welcome to our time machine.
Welcome to our time
There you
machine.
go. That's good.
I don't have a hot tub.
You don't have a...
Dead gummit.
But I got
a time machine.
But I got a trolling motor. Gotta do one. No, never mind. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Retro Show. The Retro Show is...
An homage.
An homage to growing up in the 70s and 80s. And here we are. We are two guys that grew up then.
Let's start a poll. I want to start a poll.
Tell me a story.
So, folks, here's the deal. This is a yes or no poll. Butch has a broken washing machine in his garage. And I challenged him a while ago. I dare you to stick that in your front yard.
No, it's getting hauled off in the next couple of days because I've already been threatened.
And that's the poll. So on our Facebook page, it's either a yes or a no.
It won't be here. So
if we get 100 yeses, we're going to put it in the front yard.
God.
And film it.
How white trash do we want to be? Oh, my goodness. That's hilarious.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, man. Dude, what's been happening with you?
Not much, man.
No,
really and truly, it seems like every weekend it rains.
I'm tired of it, man.
I am so
sick of the rain. We have had, folks, at this point where we live, in our part of the country, it has been beautiful during the week, and then it rains on the weekends for like the last month and a half.
Yep,
and I got things I need to get finished. I got leaves I got to get up because I've got this one neighbor who has one tree who doesn't drop its leaves until like January.
Yep.
And so I've got leaves to get up. I've got flower beds to get ready for the upcoming spring, and I can't do it.
Are you?
Huh?
An overachiever, are you?
No, I'm married.
Man, I am so far behind on yard work because when the
it's wet.
When the kids were playing ball,
yeah,
we were gone every weekend. It just got worse and worse.
It gets worse and worse.
I'm going to have to spend an entire week.
Well, I know these people are fascinated to know, but see, I got flower beds to take care of.
Oh, I know. I used to have them too.
I got flower beds.
I used to have.
I have taken to. By the way, I now officially say that my backyard is a flower bed, so I can get the Bermuda grass to grow.
Backyard.
Ladies and gentlemen, off camera, where you can't see her, is my lovely wife Debbie.
Yep.
Who's just come back from the gym, I guess.
Isn't she lovely?
Isn't she wonderful? Ladies and gentlemen, coming into the camera, of course, she goes to Chris's side.
Team Chris, baby.
Team Chris. You can get her a Team Chris shirt. Debbie, who is a frequent flyer on the podcast.
Yeah. That is my partner.
That's her partner.
Right there.
They just gang up on
We
her.
gang up on Butch. Hey,
Tamara
man.
killed me.
Oh, did you go to the gym?
Yes. My friend she's a
What does that
occupational
smell?
therapist. My gum.
It smells lovely.
What's that smell? That's Campbell's bean and bacon.
He's just trying to keep me on Team Chris.
I know.
Yep.
They tried to kill my wife at the gym.
Good to see you, Debbie.
Yeah. So, she's been going to the gym quite a bit lately.
Yeah.
And I go and I walk, but I'm trying to do some weights. I'm sore today because I did the first time I'd done weights in a few months.
Well,
and I started doing some circuit training
overachiever.
again. No, I'm just trying to keep what I got.
I understand.
Because, you get to a certain age and you realize you're not as strong as you used to be.
You know I'm married to a runner. You know this.
I know.
Folks out here probably don't know this. People that know me know my wife runs. And I mean, she runs for no reason.
She's been doing it for years, too. With nobody chasing her at all.
I don't get it. And when she was training, she's ran one marathon. She used to run a bunch of halves.
I've ran one half marathon.
Yeah.
And I figured that's good.
She said that was good on. She's done one marathon and she's good with that. She likes running halves. I remember when she'd be training for those when she first started doing this long distance stuff, and she'd say, "Well, I got to run 12 miles." Sam, what? I don't even want to drive 12 miles. What are you doing? I don't get it, but they love it, and she loves it. So that's her thing. And
I know.
Have fun, baby.
Yeah, have fun. I had been running. I need to get back into it, but I need to drop about 40 pounds before I get back into it again. I had been
You were running
a
lot.
About 4 years ago, I was doing probably about a 10K every weekend.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So now I run my mouth a lot.
We do that a lot.
So there's that.
Well, I remember you telling me there was a race where you were going to run the race, and there was a keg at the end. Mm-hmm. And I told you I'd just see you at the finish line.
Yeah. That was the pinnacle race the base run. Yeah.
I'll be at the finish line, and I'll hang out.
I'll hang out and give you moral support. Yeah. Thanks for that. Yeah. Folks, the topic of today's show, should we ever get around to it, is great second albums. Now, Chris, my idea of the great second albums was something that was as good or better than the first album, but at least as good, a good
absolutely.
Continuation. Because there's a lot of people who put out really good albums and then they put out a second album and you never heard from them again. But getting over what they call the sophomore slump is going to be the topic. We got a lot of people on this list we're going to be talking about today. So, folks, first of all, I'd like to say that if you want to go to retroshow.net, you can find out every place out there that you can listen to and watch this podcast. And you can watch us. We also have a YouTube channel, and I'd really like it if you went out there and subscribe to us, even if you don't want to stare at our handsome faces and you just want to listen to us.
Just subscribe.
Just subscribe and then bail. I don't care. But yeah, just do that.
Hit the bell and then bail.
Yeah, and then bail. Yeah. Hit that. Hit the bell. Hit the subscribe button, and then you can get that. I don't care. Actually, it'd be great if you watched them.
It'd be fantastic.
It'd be fantastic if you did that. But yeah, so we got. Let's see what the phone number.
Oh, 501.
We got the phone.
697-99-33.
Got to find the button.
501.
697.
99-33.
Yes, so and that'll also be on the bottom of the screen, right down there, as we're saying that. It's kind of cool. We add the graphics in later.
No, there's no. Is there a mouse in your pocket?
Yeah, it's me. I do all that.
Listen, I'm a prima donna. I just show up and do shows. Butch does everything else.
He shows up here.
Drinks his beer.
And his
sodas or
his soda pops,
waters, whatever.
Carbonated beverages.
Do you remember that in Tommy Boy?
Yeah.
Oh, cool! It's got a refrigerator in my office. You can keep 6-pack of soda
or whatever. Also, folks, at the Retro Show, we have a store there they can go to and order their Team Chris shirts. Where Debbie gets all of her. Look at that merch right there.
Yeah.
Show that.
Can I tell them?
Yeah.
So here's the deal. I've got this blue hoodie, royal blue hoodie that I really
and
like
it's
to wear.
blue.
I mean, it is blue. And when this camera, for some reason, when it hits it, everything goes yellow.
It goes nuts when it sees that.
Took it off. Everything's fine.
I had to throw a Retro Show.
It's a zipper hoodie.
Zipper hoodie.
Yeah.
But
pretty sweet.
I need to add just all in just the non-zippered hoodies.
I thought you did that.
I haven't done it yet.
I haven't looked since you said you did it. So
I need to. Well, I said I was going to, and then you know me. I have the attention span of a hamster on crack. So there's that. And then what did she just do? She come in yes. She came in to say, yes, I do have the attention span of a hamster on crack.
Well, I'm going to need a clean pair of shorts.
Thanks for scaring Chris. Now he peed himself. So,
oh well.
But yeah, and so at this point is a good a good point to stop. Just stop. Say it. And thank our producers. to stop and thank our producers on the show. And here they are.
These are the wonderful people who support the Retro Show with a monthly contribution of $3. LNC Corporation, Roger McDougall, Melinda Hignite, Dusty Breeze, Kevin Goff, Norton, Crispy, Nancy Schwartz, Joshua Ramsey, Fran Adams, EM, Bradford Mason, Tonya Highland. Thank you to all of our fantastic supporters. Find out how you can support the podcast by heading to retroshow.net. Thank you.
The Retro Show, as you just heard, you can also be a producer on this show. Just go to retroshow.net. It's a mere $3 a month, Chris.
$3.
$3. Come on.
You can't buy a junky cup of coffee for $3.
No. You can buy some, you may be able to get some gas station coffee for $3.
Oh, you can probably get that for $1.
Yeah. You know that kind of gas, that
Yes,
kind that
I
they
do.
brewed at 6 a.m. and it's still on there at
Yes.
11?
Yeah.
Oh. PM? Yeah. That'll wake you up, by the way.
It's thick. You got to eat with a spoon.
It's that Ellie Mae Clampett coffee. Remember, I always had that where it
That-
poured out
that-
like syrup.
They were using their
tar.
biscuits to shoot down.
Yeah. Pull! Ladies and gentlemen, the topic of today's show is great second albums.
There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them. And the criteria is a second album that's as good or better than the
first
debut album.
Yeah.
Okay? Chris, I'm going to let you lead off of the list. Find something on there.
Led
That-
Zeppelin 2.
Led Zeppelin 2.
Absolutely.
I was right there with you.
Absolutely.
You know,
Led Zeppelin 2.
now Led Zeppelin 1 has some classic stuff
It
on there.
does.
It does. But man, Led Zeppelin 2 is just,
So with you riding in your car going
Yeah.
to school, it was Rush 2112.
right.
With Alan Logan, it was that album
Led Zeppelin 2.
every morning.
Yeah.
And he had that Bronco with those speakers just rolling around the floor in the back. And we'd pick up Kyle, too. Kyle King, we'd pick him up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all rode to school together, and we'd be jamming that Led Zeppelin 2. That's one of my favorites. Absolutely.
That's a good
of my
one for
favorites.
sure.
That's memories, you know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So,
But yeah, Led Zeppelin 2. So one that I'm going to throw off the list here is Def Leppard High and Dry.
Yeah, great album.
Great album.
Love that album.
Love that album. To me,
come out
On Through the
81.
Night was their first one. But yeah, 81 is when that
81,
came
yeah.
out. But High and Dry to me was just, I mean, it's the first great Def Leppard album.
I agree.
And I'm going to be honest with you. That's my favorite era of Def Leppard is up to Pyromania. And
Yeah,
then after that.
I'm in an agreement with you.
Yeah, those first 3 Def Leppard albums, I really like.
What
those.
was after Power Man? Was it Animalize?
No, no, Animalize is a Kiss album. You're talking about Hysteria.
Hysteria.
Yeah, which was
That-
a monster, and it has fun stuff to listen to.
That's the one that I saw him in concert on.
Yeah.
Was that album?
In the Round.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a cool stage.
Yeah, it was a cool stage.
Stage was set up in the middle of Barton instead on one end,
Right.
and it rotated.
Yeah.
And they had lasers going everywhere. It was a cool show.
That was a cool
It really
show
was a
back in
cool
the day.
show.
Yeah. We saw them, I guess, about 5 or 6 years ago,
Really?
and they were phenomenal. One of the best shows I've ever seen. I mean, they still can bring it. So
Biggest disappointing band that you've ever seen? I mean, literally, you couldn't wait to see them, and they were
Rat.
so disappointing. Yeah.
Rat back in the day. And, and I've talked to other people that said, well, I saw Rat back in the day and they were great. Well, I saw them twice and I guess they had 2 off nights
Yeah.
when I saw them. They just weren't good.
For me,
not
it would
live.
be Foreigner.
Foreigner?
Yeah.
See, I've seen Foreigner a couple of times where they were really good and then a couple of times where they weren't. And one time, the first time I ever saw them with Lou Gramm, they were good because it's like in the mid 80s.
Yeah.
But, Lou had like a brain tumor. And after he had his surgery, it affected him.
Yeah.
And his voice was never quite the same after that. He couldn't hit those notes anymore. And so I guess we saw him in like the late 90s. And it was like the last time I think Lou ever toured with them.
Because of that.
And yeah, and I mean, he'd had the surgery. He'd come back. They tried to have him come on the tour. And man, he just wasn't doing it.
Yeah.
But the first time I saw him, man, it was fun. It was like listening to the album. You know, it was great. But yeah, you also didn't. Who was that you saw that you were disappointed?
Bad Company's another one.
Bad Company.
Bad Company, but in their defense, they had that band opening up for them that you just don't want opening up for you.
Yeah.
That would be Damn Yankees.
Yeah.
That was their first album, and
they were great.
They tore it up.
They tore it up back
and
then.
And then I was so disappointed in Bad Company and how they sounded. It just wasn't great.
Didn't you see? Okay, I can't think of it. I had it and I lost it. So you got anybody else on the list that you can think of here?
Well, did you not want to name one?
I did.
What'd you name? I named Led Zeppelin 2.
Yeah.
What'd you name?
And I named Def Leppard.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm with you. I'm sorry.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Yeah, Foreigner Double Vision. I'll just go with that.
Yeah, great album.
Oh, man.
You know, that first Foreigner album.
I guess that's why I was disappointed.
And then this one. Oh, man, those albums, the first 4 Foreigner albums are almost untouchable.
Yeah.
You know, they're just fantastic.
Well, they were tearing that timeline up right there.
Oh, yeah. Chris is just beating the microphone. He's slapping it. He's napping.
That's enough out of you.
Easy there, big fella. Don't be slapping the equipment around.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay, so I'm going to throw this out there. Leonard Skinner's Second Helping.
Yeah, you can't.
Because the Pronounced album came out, and then they followed up with this, and it was every bit as good.
The music industry was so different then, too. I noticed that albums were coming out yearly.
Yeah, they came out yearly.
Yearly, I mean, they put a new album out in the next year. And prime example.
Album tour every year.
You don't have them on this list, but ZZ Top, Rio Grande Mud.
Yeah.
That probably surpasses their first album.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest with you, I'd heard a few songs off their first album, but I recently accidentally happened on it on Spotify because I have a ZZ Top playlist because it's one of my favorite bands.
Well, yeah.
And I'm driving in the truck and this song's playing and I'm like, man, that's grooving. And I look and it says ZZ Top's first album. And I went, oh, I need to delve more into this. And I did. And I highly recommend it. It's really good.
That's
but
a good.
The difference between it and Rio Grande Mud is night and day.
Yeah.
Honestly. I mean, you can still hear that ZZ Top sound, but the music's totally different.
Totally different.
Yeah.
Totally different. All right, man, what you got? Oh, you just did one, didn't you, with ZZ Top?
This is going to be a long episode.
That's okay. I'm all about that. So another one on my list that I think is one of these that just it is a continuation. You had a monster debut, and the second album is just as good.
I know what this is.
And it's Diary of a Madman, Ozzy Osbourne.
It wasn't what I was thinking.
Because Blizzard of Oz had come out. That was a huge album. And then they followed up with this one, and it was every bit as good.
Ozzy was tearing it up then.
He was tearing it up then. And you had Bang Bang, 2 monster albums that to me are just, they're co-equal. You can't, as a matter of fact, if you just build one playlist out of 2 albums, you pretty much got it back then.
I almost feel sorry for these younger generations that don't get to experience music this way.
Yeah.
Honestly. Music is so, I mean, literally we could be talking about this and they're looking it up on their phone and bam, they're playing it.
Yeah.
You know, back then you sat in a room where the stereo was and you listened to music there, you listened to it in your car, and you were waiting on that next album to come out.
You were waiting on the next album. We had some.
It's not that
absolutely.
That way
anything that we got was fed to us through like music magazines. You had like Circus, Hit Parader,
the radio.
Yes, and the radio. You had very limited choices on where you got your music information, and so when you had an album come out, it was a big deal. It was a big deal.
Well, and growing up for us, the radio stations were a huge deal.
They were.
I mean, they really were huge. They were running contests all the time. They were doing all kinds of stuff. It was fun. I mean, it was just fun. Radio
back in the day, and just because you remember, radio back then was a big deal. I'm not saying that it's not a big deal now, but with the competition they have from Spotify, from Sirius XM, and all of that, back in the day, radio was it. That's where you heard new music.
Yep.
And then you would go out and buy the album, cassette, 8-track, whatever. But you listen to the radio to hear the new stuff that came out. You know. So what you got next?
Rush. Fly
Man,
By Night.
I was saving that one for you. I almost said that a while ago, but I said, no, that's Chris's.
And that's actually not the one I had picked, but it was the first one I saw when I looked up on the sheet.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, yeah.
But, you know.
That's my favorite Rush album.
You know why? Neil Peart.
Yeah.
Neil Peart.
They're very very hungry on this album, and you can tell it. You know, it has a different groove to it than anything else they did, in my opinion, my humble opinion.
Yeah.
Because when you get to moving pictures and stuff like that, their music changed, and they changed with the times. I mean, they brought the synthesizer in, and you know, did things with it, really cool things with that, but different.
Yeah, it's different.
But Fly By Night's definitely my favorite.
I'm going to go ahead and throw this one out there. Monster debut. Now you know where I'm going.
Yeah.
Monster debut. Landmark album. Second album followed up.
They're both Landmark albums.
They're both, and that's Don't Look Back, Boston.
Because that's the one I was going to say while ago, and I caught Rush on the way by. So,
Boston Don't Look Back as a second album. Now, I know that I've read some things that said Tom Schultz was kind of disappointed in that one, and I don't know why. Because the man's a perfectionist.
I would be more
thing.
disappointed in Third Stage.
There's parts of Third Stage
They're
I really
okay,
like,
man, but
those first two albums are just untouchable.
I still have copies of both of them today.
They're untouchable.
And you need to play the album. Don't just listen to one song off there. Play the whole album.
Play the whole thing.
It's unbelievable. Great music.
What you got?
Well, give me a second. I had it, and I blew it.
You had it, and you lost it.
I lost it. Oh, Van Halen 2. I'm taking
Van Halen
that one
2.
from you. You took my Boston. I'm going to take your
No,
Van
man. I don't mind. We can share our love in Van Halen too.
Van Halen.
Thing is that that was a big, that was a big debut, and they followed it up with something that was, to me, just
that
as
was
big.
their first top 40 hit too.
First, Dance the Night Away.
Dance the Night Away was.
Well,
I mean, it was
off of
top
that
40.
album. Yeah.
But it was rock. I mean, it was.
Yeah, absolutely.
The rest of the album's really good.
Yeah. So really, really good.
Yeah, that you don't judge that album by that song.
No. Oh man, I love Dance the Night
I
Away.
do too, but
That's a
I'm
great
saying
song.
if you're looking for hard rock, that ain't it.
Yeah, it was definitely.
You know.
Yeah.
That one
I see what you're saying.
and Beautiful Girls.
Beautiful
Both of
Girls.
those not really. Beautiful Girls. That's probably my favorite Van Halen song.
Yeah.
Always has been, but it's not that hard rocking sound that Van Halen off their first album was. You know what I'm saying? It was different, a little bit different.
Next one I'm going to throw out there is Billy Squier, Don't Say No.
Yes.
Far superior to his first album, which was
think
called
so.
Tale of the Tape. Don't Say No, to me, is one of those albums that if you were around in 1981 when that came out, everybody had a copy of that album.
And it was on every radio station.
Every radio station. And there are so many good songs on that album. That's one of those I can throw on and listen to every song on it. It's really just a fantastic album. What you got next?
Cinderella, Long Cold Winter.
Isn't that a great album? I like that.
I don't have any other Cinderella albums, but I have
that one. Listen, that's got Coming Home on there.
Yes.
Which,
Gypsy Road, too. That's my
Gypsy
favorite.
Road is great, too. But Coming Home, to me, is just, let's just take it out of genres. Let's take it out of hair metal, hard rock, blues rock, whatever. That's just a great song.
It is a great song.
Coming Home is just fantastic, and I love that song. I'm glad you picked that one.
Yep.
So here's one that's going to go Heart, Little Queen.
Ladies and gentlemen, against all odds, all reason really, Butch was wrong. You see, he would go on to say that the Heart album, Little Queen, was the second Heart album. In fact, Magazine was the second Heart album, and Little Queen was the third Heart album. So, let's fast forward a bit.
Wait. And there you go. So I'm going to throw in Molly Hatchet, Flirting with Disaster. Great follow-up. The first one's fantastic, too. First one's fantastic. But, man, they followed up with Flirting with Disaster, which, to me, every bit as good as their debut album. And their debut album had some great stuff on there. Had Bounty Hunter, Gator Country, and then they follow up with Flirting with Disaster.
We've seen them twice in one year.
Seen it. Yes, we have. So what's next? What's next for you, sir?
Eagles, Desperado.
Isn't that's a great album. Listen,
Do you
as
know
good
they were
as the
gropping the music people when the record executives were dropping because they said they're going country.
No, they were always.
I'm just telling you, that was on that they had a great special on the Eagles on on Netflix there for a while.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing.
Yeah,
but yeah,
you remember them saying that they're going country.
They're going.
They're going country.
They started out that way.
Well, they were backup singers for Linda Ronstadt.
Yeah, and so I mean,
they were in Linda's band.
I'm going to be honest with you. Until they bring in like Joe Walsh,
yes, I agree,
and Felder, they were kind of a country sounding band. And
the Eagles, Oko Yono,
yeah,
Dave Felder.
But they bring them in, but you got Felder and you got these guys that come in, and then they start, Hotel California and that era of the Eagles. But I like all the eras of the Eagles.
I do too.
I like their country sounding stuff. I think it's fantastic. One of these nights, Desperado, the title track on that one.
Great tune, man.
It's an iconic tune.
One of these nights is probably one of my favorite Eagles.
Yeah.
songs. I've seen the Eagles once, and I saw I've seen them twice. No, I took Kansas City Glenn Fry. No, I took Kansas City Eagles. It was the Eagles. I've seen them twice. I just remember seeing Glenn Fry before he died.
Yeah, I think I've seen them 3 times.
3?
Yeah. And Debbie and I,
great in concert.
Listen, the first time we ever saw the Eagles, I'm going to tell you something. It was like in 2003. Okay, so I missed like all of the stuff earlier, but they came through. So it's like 2003 the first time I see them. And the stage goes dark, and they open with Seven Bridges Road. And, dude, I'm going to be honest with you. Man to man, sitting here, I'm crying.
Yeah, that's
I'm crying at that because it sounded so good.
Yeah.
And it's just, and I love that song anyway. Seven Bridges Road is probably in my top 3 Eagles songs of all times.
Do you know what they opened with in 95? Hell Freezes Overture.
What was that?
Hotel California.
Oh, yeah. They opened with Hotel California.
With Hotel California.
And it just
it went up from there.
And went up from there.
I remember Joe Walsh was singing Life's Been Good to Me. They were in Texas Stadium, where the Cowboys play. Yeah. And it was the old one with the hole in the roof.
Yeah. Which
I think the new one's got a hole too, but it wasn't as big.
That's where all the talent gets out. Sorry, if you're a Cowboys fan.
Fist bump on that. Yeah, Chiefs, go Chiefs, baby.
Go Chiefs.
And I'm not on the bandwagon. You can ask this man sitting next to me since I was a little boy.
That's right. We've been Chiefs fans for a long time. Chiefs obviously been my second favorite team.
No, that's one. That's number one.
I've been a Packer fan. Oh, dude, I love the Packers.
At least you didn't say the Raiders.
No, I didn't say the Raiders. But Chiefs have always been the solid number 2 favorite for me for years.
See,
and so I always love to see them. I love it when they get in.
To me, my 3 teams in the NFL, which I don't even watch the NFL, but if I claim teams, Chiefs, Broncos, which makes no sense whatsoever. They're in the same conference, but then and the Saints. I like the Saints.
Yeah. How do you not like the Saints?
I've always liked the Saints.
That's
my son's favorite team. New Orleans Saints. He loves it.
I'm gonna throw one out there. Ride the Lightning. Ride the Lightning, Metallica.
Are you getting us back on topic?
Yes. I'm sorry.
It was pretty good.
I know.
That was a good segue.
But yeah. First album, Kill 'Em All, but man, Ride the Lightning to me was just a step up. It really was. That is a great metal. I remember the first time I'd heard that, because I was kind of a metalhead as a kid. I liked the Judas Priest, Black Sabbath, Ozzy, all that kind of stuff. Man, when they came out with Ride the Lightning, I was going, dude, this is a whole other level of just crunch and
that was a different style of music.
Yeah.
I mean, it came out in the mid 80s, and it didn't really catch hold with us as much as it did a year or 2, 3 years younger than us.
Yeah.
Those guys are big metalheads, and they like the Metallica.
But no, I mean, I remember when this came out.
I like it. Don't get me wrong.
I was loving it. So what's next on there for you?
Black Sabbath, Paranoid.
Big jump for me. All of their, as good as The production value, everything on that album is a step above.
Yeah, it's
what they
good.
had
I mean,
on
that's a
that
good
one.
album.
Some good stuff on there for sure.
Have you ever heard Planet Caravan?
Yeah,
That's like
absolutely.
A cool song.
Listen, man, they used to have some cool stuff. Listen, if you appreciate like people who are good at their playing their instruments
Right.
and stuff like that, listen to Geezer Butler play bass. The man is freaking phenomenal.
Yeah.
He is basically doing these bass runs that are just amazing. I mean, the level of proficiency the man has. I mean, he was always just one of the best bass players out there.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to tell you right now, drink local. Drink local.
Oh, yeah.
So good.
So good. Oh, it's so good.
If they
Which
wanna-
one's that? Is that the IPA?
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty good stuff.
They're both, that other one's my favorite. I mean,
Oh, the
they-
Blackjack?
I wasn't going to say anything because
I know.
I'm thinking they need to give us some money. Or beer, anyway.
It'd be nice. It'd be nice if they, pay us money, put your logo up there.
Yeah, we'll throw it up every time. I
Listen, I'm
promise.
not cheap, but I can be had.
He can.
All right.
I've seen him do it.
All right. There you go. Okay, so next on the list for me, I'm going to say, because I'm a huge fan of this band, and if you don't know this album, that's okay. But that is Judas Priest, Sad Wings of Destiny. And the thing about Judas Priest is their first album was one called Rockarola. It's not that the songs are bad, it's just the production value on that album is just
I don't think I've ever heard
awful. It's awful. It's terrible production
There's a
value
reason
on
why
it.
I've never heard it.
But when they came out with Sad Wings of Destiny, it has like songs like The Ripper on there, which they still play
Yeah.
live. Great. It's like the first song is, okay, so that's what they sound like. Yeah, the first album, not great. Second one, man, just
A total 180.
total 180. It's like, it saved their career, I'm sure. So, yeah. What you got?
Stevie Nicks, The Wild Heart.
Yep.
I mean,
Every bit as good. I mean, as big as
Absolutely.
Belladonna is, and Belladonna has great stuff on there.
they both got great
They've
stuff.
great stuff, but it was like a continuation.
Yes.
And so, yeah, second album. Stevie Nicks had already made a name for herself with Fleetwood Mac, a huge name. And then she came out with solo albums, which, by the way, she's coming in concert pretty soon. And I'm
Really?
thinking, yeah, I'm considering.
No. Let's go. I'll go
so-
see
yeah.
Stevie Nicks. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But she's
I went to
fantastic.
see just Pat Benatar.
Oh, I know. I would go see Pat Benatar.
Were you with me? Was that me and you, or was that
No,
me and Thrash?
that might have been you and Thrash.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
But we
I've
they
I've
opened
seen
for
her before
Journey.
too, though. Yeah,
They
yeah.
opened
So,
for-
okay, I was at the same show, but I had taken my boys and we were sitting different
Yeah,
areas.
we left about 3 songs in the Journey.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm done with this.
yeah, yeah. The what? Steve Perry ain't here. No, I'll see
Now
ya.
I'm out.
I'm out. Another one that is is Doobie Brothers Toulouse Street.
I don't know what's on that album.
Toulouse Street had just a second here.
He's going to the Google Nader.
I'm going to the Google Nader.
It doesn't matter, man. Anything that says Doobie Brothers on it was excellent.
It was, but I just want to make sure that I'm right on this because,
He was wrong earlier.
I was wrong a while ago. I actually had it on paper.
But, hey, he's got friends that pull him out in the club.
I was wrong. I was wrong. Yeah, the first one was Doobie Brothers, and it had. I'm trying to think. It didn't really have anything there that you would think of with Doobie Brothers now on the
cannot
first
see that
album.
from here.
But Toulouse Street had listened to the music, rocking down the highway.
Yeah.
Jesus is just all right. It was a great second album, and yeah, it was really good.
I mean, if it's on this list, I mean, I knew you had pulled this list, so
Yeah.
if it's on this list, it's going to be good. I just wanted to know what was on it.
It's Doobie Brothers. What you got?
I had it a while ago, and I've lost it. I'm terrible. Back Close, South Harmony and Musical Companion.
Black Crow. That's a great continuation.
It really is. I mean, it's as good as the first one for sure.
And the first one was fantastic.
Yes.
I remember when that came out. That was like something that was unexpected that just hit us, and we were like, oh, this is fantastic. And it's not like the music was new to us. It was a style of music we'd grown up on, kind of that blues-based
Right.
rock, but it was just great to hear it being put out there again by somebody in such a good way. And so, yeah, Black Crowes is something that I gravitated to when they first came out. And Southern Harmony and Musical Companion was just a fantastic follow-up to Shake Your Moneymaker, which was the first Black Crowes album.
Are they out of Georgia?
Don't make a liar out of me. I'm trying to think.
There's been some really good bands coming out of Georgia. Really good bands coming out of Georgia.
Really
Zach
good
Brown's out of Georgia.
Yeah.
Allman Brothers are out of Georgia.
Okay, I'm going to chase a rabbit now in that I got to see Zach Brown probably 4 years ago.
He's excellent.
The guy can play anything.
Yes, he can.
That's one of the few bands that I've seen that come out.
I've seen him one time
Yeah,
for like 3 songs
yeah.
because it was on Cass Mountain.
And it
Ozark.
got rained out, and
It was mist and rain, and it was like 45 degrees, and the wind was blowing like 20 to 25, and
Yeah.
it was miserable. We like to never got in to begin with. We were there to see Blackberry Smoke was opening for him,
yeah,
and we get in, and right when we get in there, Blackberry Smoke was like, "Thank y'all, good night."
Thank you.
They played like 4 songs. They got the hell off the stage.
we gone. Yeah, it's bad.
And it was for Norton's daughter's birthday.
Yeah,
And my cousin, and he I wasn't leaving because it was her birthday.
it was her birthday.
And she was like, "I'm ready to go," and it was
Yeah.
like I about trampled her.
That's a good call, kiddo. Let's head out. Yeah.
Woo, it was bad.
I got one I want to throw in there. I'm a big Foo Fighters fan. So The Color and the Shape is their second album, and that's the first one where they start to sound like Foo Fighters, because the first Foo Fighters album is basically a demo tape that Dave Grohl had put together as a solo project. He did everything on that. He had no collaboration. It's basically a Dave Grohl solo album. So when they actually came out with Color and Shape, that's the first time as a band that they had put something out there.
Wow.
So
I don't know anything about the Foo Fighters. I don't, and that's my fault. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't have a dislike for them.
Yeah.
I just don't know anything about them. I've heard their songs, but I've never.
The thing I like about,
into them.
and here's the thing, and I'll tell you this, and I actually have them on this list here as one of the things, but I was never a big Nirvana fan.
No, that one they had one song, their hit,
Yeah.
the big hit.
Yeah, Smells Like Teen Spirit.
That's it.
And
yeah, that was
but
huge.
Dave Grohl, as you know, is the drummer for Nirvana. And when he started doing Foo Fighters, I really liked them, which is odd because I didn't care for Nirvana. And I mean, I appreciate what they were about. If you're a Nirvana
they
fan,
contributed
awesome.
to the change of music.
That needed to happen.
And yes, and I mean, when grunge hit, music changed again. You got bands like Nirvana, Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
Who else?
Someone else that's on this list, but
Stone Temple Pilots.
Stone Temple Pilots, STP.
Yeah, I mean, good music, and I listened to it, but I just never was. I didn't delve into it like I did the rest of this music.
Right.
I don't know why.
I know. It was a big departure for us.
It was.
And it took me a while to kind of get into some of it. But
we lived through 2 eras. I watched 2 eras die.
Yeah.
Basically, with the 70s.
Right.
The disco thing that came through and died, basically. And then grunge, when it came through and killed kind of rock and roll and then went away. And music changed again. It did. It continually morphs. Stuff that y'all would consider rock and roll in our day, or what we would have considered rock and roll in our day, is on the country station.
Yeah.
Now
it would be. Yeah. A lot of stuff.
I mean, there's a lot of
stuff.
There's a lot of cross genre stuff going on. That's crazy.
Foo Fighters, Color and Shape. What you got next?
I mean, there's just a few on here that I just don't want to mention.
Okay.
Keep Billy Joel, Piano Man. I always like Billy Joel.
Yeah.
I don't
do
know how this compares to his first album.
It was one of those things where it was just a good building block for him. It was.
Piano Man, I'm assuming, is on this album, which is my favorite Billy Joel song. I think it's a cool I like interesting written songs.
Yes.
The Chair by George Strait.
Yeah.
It's a complete conversation. There is no chorus.
Yeah.
That is so cool to me. I don't know why. This song, Piano Man by Billy Joel, He's basically telling about his night in a bar.
Yeah.
Playing for
It's
the
a
crowd.
story song.
It's a
and
story
I'm
song.
a sucker for a good
Yeah,
story
me too.
song.
I guess I am. I guess
I'm
that's
a
what it
sucker
is.
for a good story song.
went to Paris.
Huh? He went to Paris. Great song.
Yes.
You know, another good story song. You know, I had it and I lost it.
Yeah.
You mentioned it. It's okay. It'll come back to me at some point. Later on, I'm just going to blurt out a song, and people are going to go, "Where'd that come from?" I don't know. He had it and he lost it. I don't know what happened to him.
It came back and hit him right in the face.
It came back and hit him in the head.
Please take this one so I don't have to say it.
Which one?
Oh, good Lord, Butch. If you look at this list, you know who it's going to be. There is no way. I have complained about this band repeatedly.
You have complained about
and
this
you're
band.
like, oh, I've kind of liked them as we've gotten older.
Oh, dude, that's been a while back since we talked about that. So
Let me see. It's in the D's.
it's in the D's. Hang on a second here. Duran, Rio.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a monster album. It was a follow up to one. Yeah, Duran, Rio was huge back in the day. It was a good. I know you don't care for them, but you know
I don't. And it's okay if you
and
do.
that's okay.
I just didn't ever really. Not my cup of tea.
Not your cup of tea. I will tell you. Here's one I'm gonna throw out there. Motley Crue, Shout at the Devil.
You know
That was a follow up to Too Fast for Love, and it was a building block on that. Although I'm going to be honest with you, I think Too Fast for Love is probably my favorite Motley Crue album, but this was a good follow up to it.
But the album that cruised them over into superstar status was
Theater of Pain.
Theater of Pain.
And then after that, they just kept getting bigger and bigger for about 3 or 4 albums.
It's crazy.
For sure. Got anything else on the list that jumps out at you?
Bon Jovi, 7,800.
You know what? I'm glad you said that because their debut to me was kind of light. It was a little bit lighter, you know. It was kind of it had a little Runaway and stuff like that.
Right.
But 7,800 Degrees, dude, that was you wouldn't have Slippery When Wet without 7,800 Degrees,
No.
and it was a hard rock album. And this is the tour on 7,800 Degrees Fahrenheit. And that I saw them, and we'd mentioned Rat earlier about being a disappointing live act. This is the band that blew them away. Bon Jovi was opening for them in '85, and they literally
Who was the
blew
band?
them.
I'm sorry, I had a text.
That's okay. It was Rat, and Bon Jovi was opening for them and blew them away.
Yeah.
Now, here's the sad thing about Bon Jovi. We went and saw him probably 18 years ago after Richie Sambora left. Okay? I was going to tell you right now, we were so bored we left.
Yeah.
He had no energy. There was not, you know, it had turned into a show, and I hate to say this, ladies, don't get mad at me, but it's true, for middle-aged white women.
Yeah.
That's what it turned into a
Well,
show
I mean,
for
that
him.
was his demographic.
But he had just it's like
They
there
were-
was
they
no,
were
and of course, they
teenagers
were-
and 20s
Yeah, but
when he
I
was
mean, they were
huge.
happy to see him
Yeah.
and stuff. But it's like Debbie said, I'm kind of bored. I said, yeah, me too. Let's go. Let's beat traffic and get out of here.
Yeah.
And it
I've
was
done
kind of
it. I'm
sad
not
because
cousin for
he was back in the day.
He was not
one of the
kind.
best live acts that you would ever see.
I saw him in '86. The Slippery When Wet tour.
Yeah.
And it was badass.
Yeah, but
Cinderella opened for him.
oh,
It
saw
was
Cinderella open
incredible.
for David Lee Roth, and that
It
was
was
they were
incredible
fantastic.
show.
Yep. I've got one here to throw here before we get out of here, and that's Meatloaf, Bat Out of Hell.
Dude,
Is that not just an iconic
talk about
album?
a story song.
Story song. Oh, Paradise by the Dashboard Light is a story.
It is definitely a story song.
And it's a cautionary tale.
It's very
but
good.
yeah,
It is a cautionary tale.
It's a
Listen.
cautionary tale. Listen to that song.
Be sure.
Yeah, listen, kids. I am.
Don't make promises.
Yeah,
that
don't
you
make
can't
promises.
keep.
I know. Yeah, Paradise by the Dashboard Light, Bat Out of Hell. He co-wrote this thing with Jim Steinman, and it was just a monster hit.
I never got to see him.
I never did either,
I
and I
would
wish I could.
love to have seen him.
Man, I wish I could too. You know, the first time I heard this song, and we've already mentioned him on this podcast a couple of times, Kyle King.
Paradise by the Dashboard
Yeah,
Light.
he said, "Man, you got to hear this. This is fantastic. This is an awesome song." And he played that, and I remember that. So yeah, shout out to Kyle King.
That's about 3 or 4 tonight, Kyle.
Yeah, he has.
It's an homage.
It's an
to
homage
Kyle
to Kyle King. The only other thing that I could think of on here, Chris, that I want to mention would possibly be on here that just really grabs me and it makes me go, and that is going to be where it's somewhere here on the list. Alice in Chains, Dirt.
Yeah.
First Alice in Chains album. It's okay, man. Dirt came out and that was Alice in Chains. That's when I was going, oh man, this is good stuff. Yeah. And I don't know if they were grunge or not. They weren't. I don't know if they were from the Seattle. I don't think they were. They were just a hard rock band, and that's when hard rock had kind of gotten a little bit grittier and kind of that wall of sound.
Same. To me, the same grouping, I guess is what I'm trying to call it. Is April Wine. To me,
April Wine.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Mm-hmm. It's Alice in Chains.
Mm-hmm. It's one of those obscure bands that my brother listened to that I didn't. That's why they're grouped there.
See, they're not obscure. People are going to be looking at you and going, where were you?
Well, my brother loved them. He loved Alice in Chains. He loved April Wine.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the podcast. This is the podcast that dares, Chris dares to compare Alice in Chains to April Wine.
I just say that I did not. Now, let me clarify this. I did not compare April Wine and Alice in Chains. I said they're a band that I put kind of in the same grouping. A band you and my brother listened to,
that
an
you
obscure
did.
band that I didn't listen to.
I thought you were comparing the two. They're going, that's like Van Halen and Gino Vanelli. Yeah. That's like they're both their last names start with V.
We're going all Willy Vanilli.
We went Willy Vanilli, which, by the way, that episode is out. It's a couple of episodes ago. Go listen to it. That one was a fun episode to do because we didn't really have a plan going into that one.
No, it was
not
fun.
That it matters if we have a plan anyway,
not really,
because we're going to chase rabbits.
Show notes are nice though, and typed up. You can read them.
I know you can read them. They're in black and white, and they're.
Forgot Sammy Hagar, man.
Sammy Hagar's second album. Now, this is the one. It's called the Red Album. It's got red on there. The early, it's kind of when he was coming into his own. But yeah, that second Sammy Hagar album starting to have some really good stuff on.
So
there.
Was his first album 3 Lock Box?
No. It was like his discography goes back into the 70s.
Does it?
Yeah. He was lead singer for Montrose. And
I did not know.
Yeah, and so Bad Motor Scooter is a Montrose song. And so he was lead singer for Montrose for a while, and then he went solo. And it took him a while to kind of get some steam and stuff. And so starting with this album right here, which is the Red Album, he kind of started to get a big following there. And then you started getting into things like Standing Hampton, which is my personal favorite Sammy Hagar album. And then 3 Lock Box, which followed that one.
So at which point did he go to Cabo and buy a tequila factory?
He was working. Okay, so he was with Van Halen at the time.
Yeah, I thought so.
And he started making Van Halen money.
Yeah.
He started making Van Halen money and went down to Cabo San Lucas and basically bought a bar. And
bought
at the time,
tequila factory.
And a tequila factory and a bar. Mm-hmm. And basically at the time, Cabo San Lucas was nothing.
Yep. And
it is now like a huge destination. And I think he plays a big part in that.
They love him.
Yeah, they love him down there. The locals love their Sammy down there. They do, actually. He has a place down there, and he spends a lot of time there. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to reach out to us and say you guys are a bunch of idiots, that's not the choices I would have made at all. You can just keep it to yourself. Or you can go.
I mean, no, you're welcome to do that. That's fine. I get it. Trust me.
You can call us and leave a text or a voicemail at 501 697-9933. And you can also reach us at howdy@retroshow.net. It gets us both of us an email. Or you just go on our Facebook page and leave us a message there.
And if y'all got a second album of one of your favorite bands that you liked better as well or more than the first album, and put it on there.
Put it on there.
We'd love to hear it.
We'll give you a shout out.
Something.
Yeah, we'll do that for you. We'll do
We'll do something.
It don't mean nothing.
I'm going to buy everybody in here something.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. Come back next time. Go ahead and make your day, people.
AMF, guys.